Ladies and gentlemen, 2 days ago, on February 14th, the federal government entered a partial shutdown after the Democrats refused to continue funding the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. Now, what's the big deal? What does this mean? 90% of the Department of Homeland Security's employees are considered essential, meaning that they're exempt and really unaffected by this shutdown altogether. Really, that these employees are just continuing on with business as usual. 90% of them, 10% are affected. However, let the record show both ICE and CBP would have been directly affected and shut down and unfunded because of this type of partial DHS shutdown, if not for the one big beautiful bill which Trump and the congressional Republicans passed over the summer, which has preemptively fully funded the DHS, ICE, and CBP specifically throughout September of 2029. Another 3.5 years. Trump predicted the Democrats would try to do this. He outsmarted them. Let's allocate this money in advance just in case the Democrats try to do exactly what they have now done. So really, all things considered here, this Democrat DHS shutdown, and that's what it is, a Democrat DHS shutdown. This is pretty much nothing more than a bunch of performative virtue signaling. That's what the Democrats are best at. They are abusing whatever power they have left in the Senate, trying to signal to their far left base just how anti-Trump and radically progressive they are, when in reality, they're not even really accomplishing anything, to be honest with you, because CBP and DHS are pre-funded. Now, as some background here, it was February 12th that the Senate vote was held that ultimately led to this shutdown. So the vote fell through 4 days ago. During this vote 4 days ago, 52 Republicans voted to fund the DHS, whereas 47 Democrats voted to shut down the DHS. And that's how we got here with this one, this DHS funding bill. Unfortunately, we need 60 votes in total to bring this Democrat DHS shutdown to an end. We need 60 for this one. We only have 52. So once again, the Democrats are effectively holding the U.S. government hostage, which is what we saw them do in October and November with the full government shutdown. Now, speaking about all of this, what do you say we talk about what the Democrats' demands are in order to bring this DHS shutdown to an end? Because yes, they do have some demands. Take a listen to this. Okay, let's get into some of their demands. This is what they say. Make ICE agents show ID and wear body cameras. That's already happening, the body cameras. Ban ages from wearing masks. Ban racial profiling. I'm not sure that's happening. Require a warrant to enter private property. Of course. They're trying to take this from the civil process to the criminal process. Are any of these things not non-starters or anything that y'all can find compromise on? Well, I first off sense. I mean, they want law enforcement agents to show ID when they don't want voters to show ID. Insanity. There's no common sense here. This is all politics. They're talking around the issue. What they're doing, Lawrence, is they want reforms that frankly protect illegals and criminals at the expense of tax-paying citizens. Let's go after that warrant one. You already have administrative warrants, and Americans, if they were told the truth by these guys, would understand in order to get an administrative warrant, the defendant, the subject of the warrant, has already had full due process. Now, they want what they say is a judicial warrant. And on its face, it sounds reasonable, right? Well, we got to get a judicial warrant. The administrative warrant is already the same thing. Putting a judicial warrant on top of that, you'll never get a judicial warrant in the timely manner that you need to get it. So the result, mass amnesty, which is essentially what we had under the Biden administration. They want this again. They make it sound like it's something good. It's not. It is not. And now, ladies and gentlemen, very clearly, these Democrat demands to bring this Democrat DHS shutdown to an end are just absolutely ludicrous. And as we just said earlier, really it's all just a bunch of performative virtue signaling to their far left, radically progressive base. Keep in mind, all of this is part of the Democrats' plan. They're on the campaign trail. They're thinking about midterms. The Democrats have determined that shutting down DHS is going to help them as they head towards midterms. It's all part of their political strategy. Now, there's a senator I want you all to hear. He spoke about this earlier this morning. This is Senator Tim Scott. Take a listen to what he had to say about this. Joey, let me just say this to every single Democrat standing in the way of funding DHS. Shame on you. You're making our homeland, the United States of America, less secure because you're trying to make a political point. You're not trying to make a difference. You're trying to make a political point. Because as you just alluded to in the Working Families Tax Cut Bill, we funded the vast majority of ICE through 2029. And so what you're seeing today, Joey, are Democrats literally leveraging our national security to make a political point, not a difference, not taking care of the home front, not funding TSA, not funding those who need FEMA to come in after a disaster. We're talking about leaving our Coast Guard unfunded. Why? Not good. Politics, not to make a difference, but to make a point. And Joe, I'll go one step further. Not only should they be ashamed of themselves when they're walking through the airports over the next several days, they should be looking down, not into the eyes of people sometimes working paycheck to paycheck, keeping our airports safe, keeping passengers moving. It is undeniable that we've already funded 96% of the United States government through the appropriations process. Only 4% remains unfunded. That's a Department of Homeland Security. And ICE isn't an issue because the vast majority of that funding has already been taken care of previously. So what you're really seeing are stalling tactics to change the outcome of the midterm election. Thank God Almighty, it will not work. So, folks, here's my thing. Like we said earlier, it is going to take 60 votes in the Senate to bring this Democrat DHS shutdown to an end, which means that unless we are able to get 6 or 7 individual Democrats in the Senate to bring this shutdown to an end by voting alongside the Republicans, well, we're pretty much at a gridlock here. The Democrats just keep on getting away with holding this country hostage. The Democrats have realized, well, because the American people have voted us out of the House, out of the Senate, out of the White House, over half of the state governorships. Okay, the Democrats have realized, well, the only thing we can do is try to shut down the government over and over again and engage in judicial lawfare. And that's what they've been doing. We've been seeing that now for 13 months. Now, there is one way out of this. There is one way that we can cut the Democrats out of this, entire shutdown dynamic. The Senate Republicans could grow a spine and drop a nuclear bomb. So to speak right on top of the 60-vote zombie filibuster, which is the mechanism that the Democrats have been abusing in order to undermine President Trump's America First agenda. They have been using this 60-vote zombie filibuster. Really, it's all part of Chuck Schumer's plan saying, actually, Republicans, even though you have a majority, even though the American people voted for you to have a majority, you're not allowed to do anything unless you can overcome the 60-vote zombie filibuster. The Republicans, if they wanted, right now could drop a nuclear bomb on that, change the rules of the Senate, at which point we could do whatever we want. So here's my final thought here. Nuke the filibuster. Save the Republic. Let's finally put America first.